Scientists tell us that life emerged from water. Indeed, life as we know it would not exist without water. Approximately 2/3 of the human body is water. Not only is water needed for life, it is also used for hygiene and cooking, for transport and recreation. Water is also a universal religious symbol, as in the washing away of the impurity of sin and the regeneration of a new life. From ancient times, there has been a belief in the healing properties of water, especially if the source was from a mineral spring. During the 18th and 19th century, there was a renewed belief in the healing properties of mineral springs, known as spas. The most common practice during the 18th century was to drink the water. This was known as taking the waters. During the 19th century, it became common practice to bathe in a spa bath. The term taking the waters was still in use, however. Many towns were known for their spas. Bath, Buxton, and Royal Leamington Spa are well-known examples. What may be of surprise, however, is that Chorley was once one of these spa towns. The first of the 2 recorded spas that are in today's borough of Chorley was located at an area that still bears its name, Whittle Springs. Unfortunately, very little remains, as the site has been extensively redeveloped. However, house and place names still give an echo to its past. In 1836, John Hayes, a local businessman, was boring for coal around the Leeds and Liverpool Canal, near to Lower Lane, Whitley Woods, now known as Dark Lane. The borings began to flood and eventually had to be abandoned. A new attempt in 1841 was again abandoned after it was realised that the flooding was due to having struck a spring. Sometime later, said to be in December 1845, John Hayes and a friend, William Brigham, a fellow of the Royal College of Surgeons, were out walking and stopped to drink from the spring. William Brigham noticed a medicinal taste to the water. A sample was sent for analysis to a chemist at Manchester University. The water was found to contain an alkaline content and to be pure. John Hayes was quick to realise the business potential of the spring, and enclosed it with a circular dome building. The fame of the spring and its cures soon spread, and as the visitor numbers increased, the site was developed. By 1847, it contained a ladies' and gentlemen's plunge pool, a tepid bath, a hotel called the Hayes Arms. A porter's lodge was also built at the entrance to the Hayes Arms. For some time there had been a malt kiln in the area in which the spring was found, and it wasn't long before the Hayes Arms was selling Whittle spring beer alongside bottles of spring water. The Whittle Spring developed into a very popular and lucrative Victorian leisure park. By the late 19th century, belief and interest in spas generally declined, and the brewery became the dominant use of the spring water. Ironically, the brewery was to be the cause of the demise of the Whittle Spa. In 1883, an artisan well was sunk to provide water for the ever-growing demand for Whittle spring beer. The well was said to issue 4,000 gallons an hour. This, however, caused the original well to dry up. The old bathhouse was then converted into a monkey house, and other various attractions at Whittle Springs entertained the public into the 20th century. Eventually, however, it was the brewery that came to dominate, and a new brewery was built. The Hayes Arms was renamed the Howard Arms. In 1929, the brewery was merged into the large brewers Matthew Brown of Blackburn, who eventually closed it due to the antiquated equipment in use there. In 1846, John Wilkinson was boring in woodland that he owned near to the Yarrow Bridge, alongside what is now the A6. He was attempting to find coal seams. During the course of this boring, a mineral spring was struck, which was said to gush forth 30 gallons, 136 litres, of water per minute. John Wilkinson was quick to realise the potential of this mineral spring, and set about having the surrounding woodland cleared. A fountain was constructed over the spring, which was said to be of a most elegant design and resemble the one at Brighton. During the winter of 1846, the area was developed, and by 1847 a plunge and shower baths had been completed. By 1850, the spa was well established and was open to the general public on Saturdays, the admittance costing 1 penny. It is recorded that in June of 1850, 11,000 members of the Youth Temperance Society of Bolton arrived on a special train to visit the gala at Duxbury Park. As it was one of the hottest days that summer, 1,000 to 2,000 of them made use of the spa to cool down. The only complete structure that's still visible that belongs to the spa is Springwood Cottage. The cottage was originally built for the spa manager, but as interest in spas waned in the late 1860s, the spa was closed and the cottage was lived in by Joseph Hogg, a bailiff for the Duxbury estate. The lane on which the cottage stands is known as Hogg's Lane. For detailed information about Whittle Springs Spa and Brewery, visit www.boydharris.co.uk, and for the Yarrow Bridge Spa, visit friendsoftheriveryarrow.co.uk.